Young Shy Beats.
What's going on, family? Man, I hope you guys are having an absolutely awesome day. So we are in Vlogmas season. Yeah, man, I'm doing this thing, and I think it's working out okay. So I went to the garage today and was gonna start on that whole winter process with Zeus, and it got late on me, man. So I went to the garage much later than I want to. And I just had so many other things to do. I'm going to just be frank, man. Just work just took over. So I decided that, I've had a few conversations about this, and especially coming from the South, they don't understand. I come from New Orleans. Being from New Orleans, they don't understand why you store a vehicle, other than just to put it away. You know what I mean? So I wanted to go over some of the reasons why and some of the processes that I go through when I'm putting my car away for the winter. So first of all, this is the second car that I've started doing this with. The first was my 300, and I flashed something up on that. But the first one was the 300, and it was, a car that started off as a true daily driver that I built into something that, well, I wasn't daily driving anymore. It was show car. It was lowered. It had bigger wheels. It wasn't anything that was ready for any kind of snow. The tires that was on there were, I guess they were seasonal tires. However, that car wasn't seeing snow anymore. It wasn't practical for snow. Had the Jeep, didn't have to worry about that. And then, of course, we got Zeus, which, although I've seen people actually drive those cars in snow, I never understood it, right? It's just a whole lot of car, right? I've seen Grand Sports like Josh Around. I think he drove his car in snow. I've seen other guys do it, but it always felt gimmicky, like they were running it for the views or whatever the case may be, creating content. Yeah, I mean, that's good for them. I'm not doing that. It just doesn't make sense at all. So putting a car away in the winter for me means it doesn't get affected by the weather. There's certain things and steps that I'm going to do to the car that is going to allow it to sit and be ready for me for next season. Now, my ultimate goal when it comes to winter storage is to have the car available so that all I have to do in most cases is turn the key and pull out the garage. I do a couple of extra steps that will require some other activities, but we'll get into that in a second. As a matter of fact, you've seen that extra step on the last video. We'll put the card up there right there. But in preparation for winter storage, there's some things that I do. There's some things that are normally done, should I say, but then there's also some things that I do. I'm just talking to somebody about, shout out to my bro, Reggie. He usually waits until he doesn't wash his car, doesn't clean it. He just store it. He has a garage. He throw a cover on it at the shop, and he usually waits until next year to get any kind of service done. I like to clean the car, make sure it's showroom ready, so that all I got to do is next season. I mean, maintenance is done, everything is done. Turn the key and get in it and enjoy the car, without having to be delayed by maintenance or anything like that. So let's talk about the first thing, maintenance. So one of the things I try to do at the very end of the season is get in for maintenance. That's going to be oil changes, any other fluid changes that may be required during that time frame. That includes radiator flushing, that includes diff, transmission, and if necessary, brakes. So far, that last visit, all I had to do, or all I had to focus on is oil change. So we knocked that out. We got it done. I did do some driving afterwards. I have a rule of thumb, at least in my head, I don't want to go below 50%, right? So for those who have these, I want to say it runs in most GM cars. It shows your percentage of the life that's left in oil. It's probably in more cars, but all I have is for reference right now is going to be my car. So it shows you the percentage of life left. I want to say that 300 did that as well. And right now, I think Zeus is sitting at about 85, 86, 85, well above 50%, right? So I'm good. We're going to be putting them away. There's no additional maintenance that I need to do to the car at this moment. So we're good to go. Another thing that I do is the cleaning the vehicle. So I want to thoroughly clean the vehicle. I take all the extra. For some reason this season, man, Zeus started storing a lot of stuff, and I have no idea why. And most of the things that was being kept in the car, I always keep a cleaning bag in the car just in case we stop. We gotta, for shows, wipe it down, whatever. But like jackets, hoodies, anything extra that I may need when I'm out of gear. For the most part, that's primarily the extra stuff that's in there. Usually if I take it out and wash the car, I have rags that the wet rags, we take those and take them out the car when we get back home. And then, so we got to really thoroughly clean the interior of the car. That's going to be, vacuuming out the car, wiping down all the surface areas. I'm probably going to do another ceramic coating on the seats. I think that's a 2-year coating, so I'm gonna probably hold off. Matter of fact, no, what I think I'm gonna do, because the driver's seat got more activity, we're gonna ceramic coat the driver's seat again, and everything that in that vicinity of the driver that is touch, gear shift, steering wheel, knobs and things on that side of the car. So we're going to get those things nice and cleaned up and ceramic coated. We also put those, have you seen those little packs that keep things dry, right? We throw those in the car. And for the life of me, I never say the name of them right, but we're going to put the name of it right here. And we throw those in the car as well. So we want to keep the car dry. Dry environments, there's any moisture that can get in the car. Keeping it dry means, and moisture can come from AC, it can come from heating, anything that circulates air in the car. You can create moisture, you get funky smells, right? Another key element is to change your interior cabin filter as well, because the crap that can be collected on it can create foul odors and smells that will linger in the car while the car is closed up. That right there is it's a recipe for having your car smell funny the first time you open the door. I don't know if you've ever heard anybody that they get in my car to jump. The first thing they say, man, it smells good in here. I like that. It was like that for the 300. It's definitely gonna be like that for this car. So we try to keep it smelling new, clean, fresh, the whole nine, for as long as possible. And that's going to be, of course, in the back and also in the front. As for all the cleaning gear and things out, we're taking everything out of the car. The only thing is going to be in there is mats and those packs to keep the air dry. So we're not leaving anything in the car. All right. After that, we're going to be looking at doing the exterior, cleaning the car really good, tips the whole nine, and then putting a coat of ceramic coating on the outside, just as another layer of protection. Cleaning is going to be, because I took the car to car wash recently, so it's clean. I just need to knock the dust off. So we're going to use some waterless wash, knock it down, clean her up real nice, dry it up real nice, ceramic coat, and then throw the cover on the car. Yep, we're going to cover the car. Cover keeps it from collecting dust while it's sitting there, right? Not only that, but I peel that back. It looks like a brand new car from that time. Now, one of the things I did mention about what I do that's different, that probably hinders me getting in it and just driving, is I do change the wheels. So I put the factory wheels on. I air them up a little bit more, around 40, 42 pounds of air in them. Usually I ride about 32. But I air them up so that they minimize on flat spots, right? I can still ride those wheels at the new season, and I usually do, just to get out and drive the car. But we also going to have to change those wheels, swap those wheels out, and get them ready for put the other wheels on. The wheels that are off now are going to get cleaned, going to get ceramic coated again, in preparation for putting them back on the car at the start of the new season. That's the only thing that hinders me jumping in and getting the car and going where I want to go and doing what I want to do from a show car perspective. Is that I would have to swap the wheels out. No big deal though. No big deal. We can live with that. So that's one of the things that I do that's unique to my car. Some people actually start their car like every couple of weeks throughout the season. I don't. And it's not just that I'm not trying to burn gas, because one of the other things I do is that I store the car with a full tank of gas. I put some stable oil in there, let that sit, and that keeps the car right and fires up. The gas doesn't get stale for the couple of months that it's sitting in the garage. But I also am not starting a car, so we put on a trickle charger. The Corvette has a trickle charger itself, Corvette branded trickle charger, and it allows me to plug it. There's a spot for it to plug in, look like a cigarette lighter in the back of the car, just above the battery. We run a line from under the hatch, put a towel on it so that it's not rubbing up on the side of the car. Close it up, plug it in, and she is getting that battery, keeping that battery nice and conditioned and charged while it sit. For those who want to trickle charge their car, there's several different options out there. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. Battery Tender makes a great one. I also have one of those, trickle charger. I have the one with the little claw clips. I would probably like to get the hardwire attachments, because I want to put that on Liberty. I have a Tennessee over the summer. I drive the crap out of Zeus, and Liberty gets a little less attention. Therefore, we find ourselves in a situation where Liberty battery dies a lot. And I just put a new battery in it last season. I don't want to beat it up too bad, so I'm going to get one of those for Liberty so that we can have Liberty charged in over the summer for most of the time. Usually I only driving that car when it's raining out, if I'm hauling something. It just depends, you know. And this last season I did a lot of driving in Zeus and a lot of shows. Every weekend I was trying to be somewhere or another. If it wasn't at a show, I was probably just in the car. Trying to get out there and get it in, man. So Harbor Freight also makes a really nice trickle charger that you can actually depend on. And then there's another one from NOCO I saw on Amazon. It's actually a really nice trickle charger. NOCO makes like the battery jump boxes and things like that. So you got a bunch of options, guys. Take advantage of whatever you can find. And if you're storing your car and you want to have the battery conditioned during that time frame, or you just have a car that you're working on and isn't working, or you're getting it ready for something else and you want to keep that battery hot, you can always disconnect the battery and just put the tender on it so that it keeps the battery conditioned on its own, so that when you're ready to fire up your car, it's ready to go. And again, it conditions the battery, so it helps prolong the life of a battery that's sitting. What else do we do? So I wanted to get back into the wheels, because right after I air up what I started doing is aired up the wheels. The first year that I had Zeus, I didn't air them up. I left them normal, but I put them on pads. And it's just the anti-fatigue pads. What they do is they create that, maintain the shape of the tire so that you minimize on flat spots on your wheels. I did that also with the 300 because I noticed flat spots after a period of time when I was actually doing work on the car. So there's also these race ramps that you can get. I think they call race ramps, and they have it's shaped like the tire, so that also can be used to minimize it. But I've, reading forums and looking at other options that you can have, just air them up a little bit more. That keeps it from going through that problem, man, or having that issue of flat spots. It works. I did it last year and it worked for me. So I had a lot of mats, man. I bought so many of those mats. If the car was going to be stored for any longer than like the 3 or 4 months that it's going to be put away, I would probably do the tarp again on the ground. I learned that tarp is for really long storage because of the moisture that can be built up in the concrete. That can actually seep up and cause like corrosion or whatever underneath the car. But it's not going to be stored that long, so I don't have to worry about that. One of the other things that I do, and it's probably one of the first things I do when the writing's on the wall that the season is over. Okay, what gives me the determination that the season is over? Snow. So depending on the amount of snow that we get enough snow that it sticks on the ground, or it needs to be shoveled, or it needs to be plowed, or the streets have to be plowed. It's over, because that means they're putting salt or some type of corrosive material on the ground. That stuff is harsh. It beats up on the snow. It also creates weak spots in the concrete. But it also creates rust because it's highly corrosive. So once that stuff is on the ground, I'm done. And you can see, 10-day forecast is going to be additional snow. It's going to be super cold. 50s are cool. 40s, it sucks in that car, because no matter what tires I have on there, I'm going to cut them. They're going to break loose a little bit easier than what I'm used to. So we start really dipping, man, especially in the 30s. And I've driven in the 30s before, but it's just not fun. You really can't get out there and have a really, really good time in that car. And I'm not putting winter tires on my car. That just doesn't make sense to me. Writings on the wall. We got cold weather. We got salt on the ground, chemicals on the ground. And it's going to be lasting for more than weeks. It's time to go to bed. That's when I go into my insurance agents, do my insurance app online, and I put the car in storage mode. Storage mode allows me to save about 2/3 of what the cost of insurance is. I only pay 1/3 of what the actual insurance is on the car. So that's the part I really appreciate. If I have to, it's tucked away. The key is, if I was one of those that want to get out and just take it out every once in a while, I am limited to 100 miles a month during that time frame. So I can drive it, only 100 miles a month. It is what it is. And then outside of that, what else do we do, man? We just make sure the area around it allows, I don't want anything that's hanging around that can fall on the car while it's sitting there. So I make sure the area around it is clear and free from things that could fall and hit the car. And I got walking space around the car. I don't want it tucked up against the wall. I want to be able to walk around it if I need to. And that's the process, man. This process is actually going to start for us. If not tomorrow, it's going to be starting for us Wednesday. So we're going to actually do the last few steps and get that done. We'll see. Depends on what tomorrow looks like. We try to get the last few steps done, button up the car. I think at a minimum we'll do the interior. Get the car buttoned up, covered, and then say goodnight to Zeus. It's part of the winter routine, man. And as we go through this Vlogmas season, we got other things to discuss. We can't go past or look past the fact that, this is part of the things that happened during the month of December for me. So it is what it is. But listen, guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I appreciate you guys. Salute to the veterans out there, man. Appreciate all those who are serving and have served. Veteran like you guys, so I know what it's all about. And additionally, man, I hope you guys realize, man, you were designed from greatness. Guys, because you was designed from greatness, you have the right, the authority, and the responsibility to never, ever, ever be average. So, guys, don't be average. Yeah. Y'all be good. Peace.